What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. We are live for the starting 11 prediction for tomorrow's game against Dundee. At the second time asking, those of you that have jumped over to this take two stream, thank you. I'll try and get it going and working this time. Obviously, we come into this game off the back, a really disappointing game on Thursday, a really disappointing result for us and the performance as well. 3-1 in the end was a really damaging first leg scoreline, but I thought Bodo Glimt were just better than us all over the pitch. And if you take it in isolation, the game, I think the team have been on a great run under Ange, and we know that we're early on in this process with a new manager and so many new players, but when you take it in the context of recent European results, particularly in knockout ties for Celtic, then it looks a lot worse. There's no doubt that there's a debate going on about whether it's the league is the priority and we should just focus on that, or we should be really trying to progress in Europe. Of course, everyone wants to progress in Europe, but where we are right now, this season with the new manager, with the new players, how can we expect to really progress against a good European team like Bodo Glimt? I know they're new. I know they're not a household name. I know that a lot of people look at it and say, well, Celtic should be beating a team like that comfortably, particularly at Celtic Park. But that's not the position we're in right now. And I think we need to build back to that. Now, I know it's difficult to lose home European ties, particularly in games like the other night, but I think we're on the right track with Ange, and it'll probably take us time to get there and get those results and performances in Europe against good opposition. Now, Dundee come into this game with a new manager, of course. They're currently sitting bottom of the table. St Johnstone get a good win today over Hearts. They've obviously let James McPake go after winning their last two games. They beat Peterhead in the Scottish Cup and they get a victory at Tynecastle. So it was maybe a bit surprising with the timing, but I don't think a lot of the Dundee fans are happy with the appointment of Mark McGee. It strikes me as a bit strange as well to bring in a manager when you're in a relegation battle and he's still got 6 games touchline ban to serve. So it's going to be interesting to see how they look tomorrow, if he's going to change anything about the way they play. He's only just joined this week, but for us, we've got to just get back to winning ways. We were in a really good run before that Bodo Glimt game, and we still are in a really good domestic run. The level of performance is really, really high. We're still the form team in the league and the country domestically, so we've got to just go back tomorrow and try and build on that. We'll start in goals, as we always do. Joe Hart is going to play there, there's no doubt about that. A little bit of debate round about me the other night, but Willery could have done better with that third goal, but it does take a wicked deflection, and he's rooted to the spot. He can't really move for it. I think defensively, all over the pitch the other night was the real problem, not the goalkeeper. At right back, I think we'll see a change there. I think Ralston will come in. Juranovic did get the assist for Maida's goal the other night, and I think on a night where nobody was really good, Juranovic was alright. Not near the heights that we've seen from him so far in his Celtic career, but I just think Ralston will come back in because Juranovic missed the previous few league games, and I think that's one area of the team that the manager's happy to change, and we've seen that recently because when Ralston's come in, he's done pretty well, and obviously the first half of the season he was great, so I think the manager's happy to change that area of the team, and I think we might see that tomorrow. It's really difficult to guess how many changes the manager's going to make because in these league games recently we have seen 3 and 4 at times, so it's really difficult to try and guess, but I suppose that's what I'm here to do, innit? Centre half, I think it'll be Carter Vickers and Carol Starfelt. Difficult night for both of them the other night. I thought Carter Vickers probably slightly better than Starfelt, but they both made mistakes. Again, I think defensively the whole team was got at the other night, which is unusual because we've been defending really well from open play. But as I say, up against a higher level opposition, we got tested and we didn't pass it the other night. It might be a good game for Julian to get minutes. I just don't think the manager's going to throw him in and start him in this game. If we're in a comfortable position late in the second half, we might see Julian come on like he did in the Cup against Wraith Rovers last week, but we'll just need to wait and see with that. This is a live format, as you know. You can get your comments and your questions in the live chat box below. I'll try and pick out some good ones as I go through. And if you like what we do and you want to support us, you can also get a live chat in and contribute to the channel as well. At left back, bracing myself for the comments after this one, I think it will be Greg Taylor. This is the same debate that I've had every week doing the starting 11 prediction about whether I think it will be Taylor or Scales. And I've always went with Taylor because I think the manager prefers Taylor, and I think I've been right most times. He started in the cup last week, Scales, and after Thursday night's performance for Taylor, everyone's crying out for him not to start. Could we see Juranovic over on the other side at left back and Ralston at right back? We could, but I don't really think that's a long-term answer. And I know that you'll all be shouting, well, neither's Greg Taylor, and he was really poor the other night. That is a weakness in the team. It's the biggest weakness that we've got in the team. And whether it be Scales or Taylor, I still don't think we're strong enough in that area of the pitch. Now again, I'm going to say, I can see the comments about Taylor coming in already. I'm going to say that Taylor gets the nod tomorrow. I think Hans prefers him, and right now we don't have anything that's much better. I know a lot of you think Scales is that answer. I'm not convinced about that yet, and I just think Taylor will start tomorrow. In midfield, I think McGregor will play again. Could we see Beaton come in and give Callum McGregor a rest? Potentially. We could also see the Gucci, I suppose. Again, you just don't know how many changes the manager's going to make after Thursday night. I think McGregor playing would do us a world of good. I think there's a danger with this game if you make too many changes and the fluency isn't what it should be, like it was against Wraith Rovers in the Cup last weekend. Then you end up with a situation where the crowd are a bit anxious and the performance isn't what it should be, and then you end up in a situation that you shouldn't be in against Dundee at home. So I think he should keep the majority of the first team players out there and hopefully get a reaction from Thursday night. In front of him, Hatate, I don't know why he didn't start the other night. I don't know if they just thought he needed a rest or if he really thought that O'Reilly and Vogic together was the best way to go in that game. It was proven that that wasn't the way to go. I think Tom Rogic is really, really poor. I've went with Matt O'Reilly alongside Hatate for tomorrow. I think O'Reilly was slightly better than Vogic, but neither of the two of them to play as eights are naturally defensive minded. And Bodo Glimt's movement off the ball and the speed they played at was really, really good, and it made it difficult for the midfield. I think you see in both first goals, tracking runners for midfield. I think Vogic switches off a few times, but even on the ball, Tom Rogic was really poor the other night, so I think he's due a bit of a rest because performances haven't been where they should be. On the right hand side, I'm going with Lee Labada. Still don't think Forrest is in a position to take his place yet. Abada was quiet the other night up against Bodo Glimt's left back. But as I say, so was the whole team. So we can't criticise him too much for that. He's been decent recently, and hopefully he can get back to that form tomorrow. On the left-hand side, another man that was quiet the other night, Felipe Jota, one of the poorest performances I've seen him put in this season. Again, you can't be too critical because he's been fantastic. I expect him, again, to try and put in a good performance tomorrow, get back to those levels that we know he can produce. The forward areas are not what they've been this season without Kyogo. We know that. Maeda up top tried hard the other night. Giacomakis came on again. They both put in really good effort, but we're just missing that X factor in the front three without Kyogo. So that puts a big onus on Jota to perform well, and he didn't do that for us the other night. He was really poor. So I expect him to bounce back tomorrow as well. And through the middle, I've went with Maeda. Again, this is a debate. I think that you could almost split the fans down the middle with who wants Giacomakis to start and who wants Maeda to start. I'm in the Maeda camp. I think he's quicker. I think his movement is better. I think Giacomakis, for all he tries hard, is a bit clumsy technically as well. I think he was caught offside about 5 times the other night, Giacomakis. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Giacomakis at all. So I've got to go Maeda. I think he worked really hard the other night. Again, still a bit rough around the edges, but he scored a good goal. And a night where we created hardly anything. We had to take a chance. And to be fair, it wasn't even a great chance. It's a good ball by Juranovic, but he's still got a lot of work to do with the header, and he just guides it into the far corner. So I think he's done enough to keep his place tomorrow. So there you go. That's the team I think the manager will go with. Before we round up, I'll try and look through some comments. Snowman is saying McGregor will likely start, but Ideguchi is the first backup, not Beaton. Aye, Beaton's played a lot though. Beaton's deputised a lot this season, and to varying effect, he's had some decent performances in that deep midfield position. We're so used to seeing him at centre back in recent seasons, but I think when he's come into the team at midfield, he's done all right. I would like to see more Ideguchi though. Don't get me wrong. I would definitely like to see more of him. Whether he can, as I say, if he's going to overtake Beaton in the pecking order, I don't know, because I think the manager likes Beaton as a backup option. We'll just need to see what happens with that. JJ Maida is miles behind Kyogo. We are missing him big time. Aye, it's interesting because for a while there, nobody was talking about how much we're missing Kyogo because the results were so good and the performances were so good. Now you have a bad result, a bad performance, and you immediately think we're crying out for Kyogo. Of course we are. He's the best striker in the team. He's probably been the player of the season. He brings so much to us. We're a totally different threat, a totally different animal with Kyogo in the team. So there's no doubt that we miss him. And like I said about the weaknesses the other night, everything just gets shown up at European level. Your weaknesses are highlighted, and if you're missing big players, that gets shown up as well. And that was the case the other night. I think if Kyogo was in the game, we'd have been a different threat going forward. Bodo Glimt are really, really strong in the counter-attack, but for all of the ball that we had, we didn't create much in the final third, and there's no doubt that would have been different had Kyogo been playing. So there you go. That's it for the starting 11 prediction for tomorrow. Like this video, comment your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you tomorrow outside the stadium for all the full-time reaction. Cheers.